Hey y'all, welcome back to Committed to Me podcast. My name is Alexis, mental health therapist.
My name is Keisha, licensed social worker and mental health therapist as well.
So y'all, welcome back. I know it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time since we did our episode, but today we are coming in with a very special episode because, we kind of been doing this for some time. And, today's episode is just going to be about self-care. And before we dive into it, I just want to check in and say, girl, where have you been?
Ma'am, trying not to drown. Surviving.
Where have you been since we last left off on the episode?
Girl, trying to manage all things. Parenthood, motherhood, career. Me and Alexis did a thing.
We did do a thing, y'all.
We did a thing. Drum roll.
So, we decided to go into group practice together. Hey. So we are both practicing as therapists together, growing together, podcasting together. I mean, girl, we got a lot of togetherness.
We are togetherness.
We got a lot. We just kind of decided to take Committed to Me into our business and professional life, and now we're working together.
We're partners, girl. So
yeah, that's exciting. So
very exciting.
But I think after we left, like where we last left off in our journey, I know for me, I was getting overwhelmed, and I needed to take some time back to me and figuring out where, how I can like recenter myself and just bring myself back into therapy, podcasting, being in my role in my family. And that was a lot to just take in.
So you needed to take the time to commit to yourself?
Absolutely. I had to find commitment back to myself. And that's okay, because you got to do that sometimes.
We did. We left y'all hanging.
We left. But we're back. We're back.
We are. We're back. So let's talk about how we got into group practice. So story time.
Okay.
So me and Alexis met maybe at the end of last year.
Yeah, that was the end of
last year. Like maybe, I don't know, September, August.
Wow, it just feels like these months are crashing.
They are.
That is crazy.
We met to talk about how we needed to do season 2.
Yeah,
and when we met, I was going to tell Alexis, I don't have the money to pay for this videographer because I'm starting my supervision to become a clinical social worker.
And y'all, podcasting is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of work. And I know for myself, I didn't factor that in coming into this.
We're just like, we're going to do it.
We're just going to do it. We're
going to find it.
Me and Keisha are the type of people that will jump head first into something, and then we'll figure it out as we go. I'm learning that about us. We will jump into something and be like, okay, let's dial it back here. Let's do a little bit here. But that shows we ain't scared to take chances.
We are. So we met to talk about the season 2, and I was like, I don't know if I can do season 2. I don't know if I have the time or the money. And then she was like, well, I'm starting a group practice. Do you want to join? And I'm like, yes! Hey, let's do it. So I just want to say it's really funny how God works things out sometimes.
Yeah.
You think, okay, maybe this isn't going to work out. And then he's like, well, what you don't know is I've been working behind the scenes for both of y'all. And here we are into the group practice. And it's just funny how it turned out.
I know. It's a full circle moment. Because for me, going into group practice, that was another decision where I was like, okay, I'm going to jump into it and then figure it out later. And it's just been every day something coming up new that I'm either learning or just taking time to just recenter myself or just allowing myself some grace. And so it's always kind of like a pivot type of like practice, I guess, when you're working with other people and also trying to start something new. And I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of fear, but it takes a lot of pivoting, being around my support system, and just going back to like what the overall vision and mission was.
There you go, because you're doing it. I mean, I'm like, dang, Alexis, maybe she's 30. She got her group practice.
Now you're disclosing the age. Listen, we're going to have to edit that out.
No, because 30 is the new 20.
Okay. Girl, 30 is 30.
Ma'am, do you know how many people wish they were in your spot and they're older than you?
Sister said 30 for 30. We can't.
You can be 30 for the next 10 years if you want to.
I don't. You're right.
30 is the new 20s. 30 is not old. 30 is young.
But what does that even mean?
It means you define what you want your 30 to be.
Okay, that's true. But speaking of SZA, did you catch the Super Bowl performance?
I did.
How did you feel about it?
I like it. I mean, I see a lot of backlash about it, and people say they didn't like it. They wanted a performance. I'm like, Susan Kendrick did it. Like, I think it was a great message, and you have to interpret the message And
what was the message?
I feel like the message is about America building their backs on Black people in music, but it's more than music.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like a lot of people didn't get the message, or they, you know, maybe feel like it wasn't up to, I don't know, NFL standards, whatever. But I liked it, and I think it was good.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that.
And Samuel did his thing. That was a good role. That was a good role for him.
The first thing that came in my mind when I seen him was Django.
Guys, listen, it was fitting. It was very fitting. Top hat and all.
Top hat and all.
I liked it.
I cannot. When I see Samuel Jackson, I just immediately think of Django.
Yep.
So yeah. But yeah, I'm glad we're back. We are back.
We're back, y'all. We're trying to bring you consistent content.
Right. So stay tuned. But for today's episode, I think we gotta do our big one. It's the month of February. It's time to talk about self-love, love in general.
Yep.
But yeah, how do you define it? How do you define self-love?
Oh, question time.
Yes, because it's so big. It's so vague.
I think self-love I define it as like how you treat yourself. How do you feel about yourself? What do you think about yourself? And I feel like how you think about yourself is how your relationships are going to be, like what boundaries you have in place, what your expectations are.
Yeah.
The way you pursue life and goals and opportunities. So I think self-love, self-care is really a mental thing. And then it spills over into the physical aspects and relationships and so forth.
Self-love to me is just such a vague term. I believe it could be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's benefiting you as a person and where you are in your journey. In therapy, self-love can be taught so many different ways, but I want to see self-love as a combination of my emotional experience as well as my physical experience. And sometimes due to trauma or whatever may be going on, it's like you're doing one without the other. And that to me it's unbalanced. Yeah. And that's not self-love. And so self-love can be so many things, but of course in like beauty standards, well, of course in social media, they paint self-love to be all about beauty and what you're able to buy.
Nails done. Have a soft life.
Speaking of getting your nails done,
do you see it?
I'm bare. So bare. And I'm okay with that because now I'm on the wave of Miss Gel X. But you know what? Forget Gel X.
I wanted to try Gel X.
Don't do it. You know, I take that back. Don't do Gel X. No, because it's just a press on. It's a press on.
I mean,
so I'm Miss Press On.
I was going to say press ons are in.
Yeah.
I stopped getting my nails done like maybe March, April of last year.
Okay.
Just because I got tired of them breaking. Like I usually I like my nails long, you know, stiletto or almond, and they just kept breaking. And then you go to the nail shop, you got to pay to get them done. You got to wait 30 minutes because they want the tech who did your nails the first time to redo it. And now I'm mad because I'm wasting my time and my nail hurt. Or I got to walk around looking busted for 2 weeks because I got to wait for the broken nail to heal. You got a Band-Aid on your hand looking ugly. It's just annoying.
It's annoying.
So I have not got my nails done, and I am trying to get my nails to grow strong. And I'm like, I'm dabbling into the press-ons too.
Yeah. And I pay for convenience. I understand the purpose of getting your nails done so that way you don't have to do it yourself. But going there to those nail shops and then being disappointed by the outcome, I've been through that too. Too many times. I can't do it. I can't do it.
And the way they pressure you to pick a color, stop. You give me anxiety. Let me pick my own color.
It's not. There's a specific nail shop in Houston, especially in Houston, where they pressure you to leave a review. I understand as a business owner, reviews are important, but I just got my nails done. I'm thinking about I got to go somewhere else. Do not be on my back about leaving a review. I will do it because I told so-and-so that I would do it, so do not pressure me.
I'm going to do it on my own time.
My own time. I do not like to be rushed to leave a review. Because now I got to talk about how that's a part of my experience, and I don't want to do that. So, no, my last time in going to the nail shop was when they took this lady 3 hours to, all I wanted was, I think I wanted a nail removal. And I wanted like a regular basic, and I mean the most basic manicure. And then I told her that I wanted shellac pedicure because I always do shellac. I ain't got time to wait for them things to dry. No, ma'am, give me in and out.
Yep.
It took her 3 hours. By an hour and a half.
That's when you should have left. 2 hours tops at the nail shop for Manny and Petty.
I was so pissed. And then they followed up by saying, you want to leave a review? You know what? Hell yeah. I got time today.
I got time.
Hell yeah. So yeah, beauty is outside of like the social standards. It's just not, you know, all about what you can spend your money on, where you're able to go. Like those things are nice, don't get me wrong.
Right.
And they definitely add to it because we all need to change the scenery sometimes, but it's not the end all be all. It's more than that.
Right. It's deeper. Let's talk about it. And
the energy to put into your self-love, that's a lot too.
Listen, this episode almost didn't get it. You know, we were like, ooh, we're tired. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
The makeup really got put on.
Yeah.
The hair wasn't working out.
Yeah.
Self-care takes a lot. It really does. And sometimes self-care is admitting like, hey, I'm tired. I just need to sit down, cancel my plans.
Be honest with yourself.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It's being honest with yourself, because if I can't be honest with myself, then everything else that comes after that, it's not gonna mesh well. But what gets me sometimes is when people can be so good to other people that they're not good to themselves. That right there. I know we're all not perfect and we're still learning, and as therapists, we can find ourselves doing this as well too. But the number one thing I encourage people to do is just to transfer the energy.
Yeah.
What you do for others, mirror it back to yourself. But how do you think that disconnect happens?
Honestly, I think when it goes into like people pleasing and maybe the fear of someone not being there with you, like wanting their approval. So you're treating them a certain way better than you would treat yourself because you want them there. You want that connection. Or even low self-esteem, low self-worth. Like if I don't value myself, I'm going to think I don't deserve X, Y, Z. And I'm going to give someone else the energy I should be giving myself. So it can be a lot of different factors. It can be trauma, you know, as well. Maybe the way you were raised. If you weren't raised to treat yourself to those things or honor rest, and you were, you know, raised to grind, you know, that disconnect is going to be there because you don't know it. You didn't see it. You didn't experience it. You don't know how to do it in adulthood.
Yeah.
So it can be a lot of factors.
And that's a learning lesson. Trying to figure out how to take the time away from the hustle, take the time away from paying bills and trying to pour into others, and then just bringing it back to yourself. That takes time. And sometimes you can be hard on yourself when you realize that you gave away so much of yourself that now you have nothing left for yourself.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's real hard.
That's hard. Especially like in your 20s, all them learning lessons that you got.
Yeah.
You're like all the time and money, energy I have wasted.
But you know, in your 30s, that hits hard. Like that hits a little bit different. And I don't know. I love shout out to my girl, Maya Angelou, but when she said, when you know better, you do better. And I feel like
hard to do better.
It's very hard to do better. But me going into my 30s, it was almost like I was tying up loose ends in my 20s. Like from my 20s, tying up loose ends. Yeah. And that was really hard to sit with. And I had to go to my own therapist and kind of get back centered into my values and my choices.
Yeah. And I think that's a good part. Like a lot of us, we do things and we think things, and they're not in line with our values.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of us, we don't even like know to like, hey, you need to have like your core of your like, at least like your 5 values. You have those 5 values. You can always come back to those values when it's time to like do the self-reflection.
Right.
You can always see if what I'm doing and what I'm thinking and how I've been the last 6 months, does it align with my values?
Yeah.
And a lot of us, we don't know to make that connection between behaviors and values. And I think that's what's very important about self-love and self-care is who are you at your core and do you align with those values?
But sometimes you don't know yourself.
Exactly. That's why you got to take time to date yourself. Spend time alone. Like you don't have to always be in a rush. Don't always be around people. Like
that sounds good, but being in alone time is lonely.
If it can be, but once you learn to date yourself, like okay, it's like okay. You know, as we go into our 30s, we may not go out as much. We may not drink as much.
I go out. I don't know about you, Keisha, but to me,
I got 2-year-old. I can't.
You're right. But
I do like to enjoy myself. But sometimes you just want to sit at home. Like I want to sit at home. I want to make me a meal that I like. I want to fix a drink I like.
That's cute.
Put on my TV show or play music through the whole house.
Yeah,
you end up dancing and you thinking of stuff. Like being alone doesn't have to be lonely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be alone forever. Like it could just be an hour or two a day. Like you just got to be alone. But it's needed sometimes.
Yeah, you got to have that alone time. Yeah. I agree. I love to go out. If there's a weekend where I could just go out and have a good time and do the things that I love, I'm going to go do it. Versus being in the house. In the house, it's nice. I get it. I pay here. This is my comfort space. But sometimes it's not enough. And I got to go out and I got to be around people.
You need the people stimulation.
Yeah. Being around people kind of re-energize. It recharges me. Being home recharges me in a different way. But being around people recharges me in a way of reminding me of things that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah.
And so I see myself being, part of my self-love is connecting with people. Like and so, but of course, I do agree with what you're saying about like, you got to know what your values are, but also trying to find a sense of self and who you are is tough. Like that is so hard. And I'm seeing a trend here. I'm not a researcher, but I might get into it. But being at the age of 27, I see that a lot of women, somewhere in the age of 25, 27, it's like a reality hit in a different way before you get to your 30s, where you start to think to yourself about what you're really doing in your career. And if you want to keep doing this and what your lifestyle will look like. And I don't know about you, but for me at that point, around 25, 27, I really had to take a look at myself and I had a breakdown. I had a serious breakdown about what I was doing with my career, how I was treating myself, how I was moving in relationships. And I had to do an inventory check.
Same friend, 27, 28. Listen, lost my job, lost my apartment, had to move back in with my mama. I think I went to a depression low key.
Yeah.
It was definitely those years you look back and you're like, okay, what have I been doing? And it makes you want to compare yourself to other people your age. Yes. But we all know comparison is not good.
No.
But it does make you want to compare yourself. Like, okay, I see these people flourishing and doing X, Y, Z, and they seem stable and some people have been married at 27, and you're like, man, I ain't even got to figure it out.
They 23 got a mansion.
Okay.
How?
What did you do?
Like you came out the womb just thinking about putting a business plan together.
Listen, I think it's our field because baby, the bachelor's in psychology. I think. Listen, my first like counseling job, I was making $30,000 a year. When I look back, I'm like, I don't even know how I survived on that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is like, it came out to like $980 per paycheck per 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And back then rent was like $700.
Right.
So I could make it swing. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't have no money. I feel poor.
Yeah. And that's a hard reality to sit with.
It is. I'm like, I should have went into IT or engineering. Something else. But yeah, the 20s is definitely your pivot. It's like it's like a young life crisis where you're like, okay, well, what have I spent my 20s on? How do I want to go into my 30s? What do I want to do and change and pivot?
So self-love looks like constantly doing an inventory on your life.
Always.
And seeing if what you are doing is aligning with where you want to be and where you're going. And sometimes that can bring up a lot of heavy emotions, but you got to sit with it, figure it out, and also getting back to, how you want to see yourself, because that's the constant work.
Yeah. You got to make space for your emotions.
Yeah.
When you try to block out those heavy emotions, you're just like prolonging the healing or prolonging this grand outcome that you could have, prolonging the new you that's waiting to happen, waiting to come through. You got to like make space for those emotions. Like they're valid. Don't think that your emotions are invalid or why do I feel this way? What's wrong with me? Like just make space for it. Own your emotions and it's okay.
Yeah. But speaking of spending time with yourself, I had the chance to do that when, I don't know if you watched it, but when Wicked came out.
I did not watch it.
Girl!
I did. The promo, they just look so skinny. And I'm like, what is this movie about? Like, I can't get over the fact that I'm seeing bones pop out everywhere. And I'm like, what is it?
Keisha, no. When you see that movie, I went to iPick to see the movie because I love an experience. And I love a good recliner chair that makes me feel like I'm at home.
Oh, and the ones that cut, they heat up.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe that's life right there.
So I've been on my movie kick right now and going to different movie theaters. And did you know they put like hot, like it's like a seat warmer? Like they're heated seats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they come with massages in them. Did you know?
I didn't know the massage part.
I'm gonna put you on. So some of them, so I've been visiting a lot of movie theaters. And I think there's one by your house that has massages and a heated seat. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, me, okay.
But I told myself, okay, enough is enough. We're not going to wait for people to go out and have these experiences because that is so annoying sometimes. And I had to get into the mindset of, if we want to do it, let's go do it.
Yep.
You deserve it.
Don't wait on nobody
else.
Don't
wait on nobody else. And people don't have to always add to your experience. You can add to your own experience. And so I took myself to iPick. Really, I ordered, I sat in a seat where it was just me, but it's like a booth. So you sitting by yourself, but I had like an extra seat next to me, but it's in like a cubby. So it feels real intimate and like I'm at home.
That's cute.
It's really cute.
That's real cute.
And so I kick my feet up. I'm waiting for my movie to start. I'm place my order. I got me some popcorn. Like I order myself these things. Keisha, I tell you, when that movie started, I wept.
It's sad.
It's not sad, but it's just about how somebody is fighting so hard to be and have the same experience, if not more, than the other person.
Oh.
But because she looks different, which I will say, Elphaba, she's a black girl. She's a black girl. She got the lips, the nose. You know, of course her skin is green, but she's a black girl and she got braids and stuff. And so you could see yourself in so much of like the hardships that she experiences. And I don't know what it was, but I had a good cry in me and I wept. I know them 5-year-olds was like, get this lady out of here. Get her out of here, okay? Because she having too much of a good time. When they had that little funny moments, I was kikiing. I was literally.
You enjoyed it. You tended to your inner child.
I definitely tended to my inner child.
You did.
I definitely tended to my inner child, and it's a musical. But if you can get past, I like the songs too. Some people were not feeling the songs, but I liked it. And so if you can get past the music and just really understand the deeper message there, it'll shape some things. Okay, you know, but it really embodies like self-love, in my opinion.
Okay. So I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add it to our calendar to go ahead and watch Wicked one night because I got another cry in me. And
now I got another cry in me. You know it's brewing.
Yeah.
He's like, I had a heavy week. It's brewing.
It's brewing. It's coming. Yeah. So,
girl, bye.
I'll tap us in on that one. Okay.
Well, I think another important aspect of self-care is giving yourself grace.
Yeah,
you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
But I really think it's important to give yourself grace because a lot of us, life is about learning lessons. We make our lessons, we make mistakes. Maybe you failed at something, you feel disappointed. And the natural reaction is to like beat yourself up and talk down on yourself and be like, dang, I should have did this. And I can't believe I did this. And oh my gosh, I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
But it's really important to give yourself grace. And that's the self-care aspect that I don't see enough being talked about, is to like be kind to yourself and tell yourself it's okay. Like I messed up, but what's the lesson that I can learn from? And how can I do different next time? Like being soft with yourself,
Yeah. And it's okay to take breaks from self-love and self-development, because that can be very draining sometimes. And so it's okay to take a moment to, I've been getting into my book bag as well too. You'll be so proud of me, Keisha. Like it's like a 180, like who is this girl? But I've been getting into my book bag. I joined a book club and there was a point being in group practice and being a therapist, it's since you're helping people figure out themselves and work through their trauma, it can be very easy to find yourself in reading a lot of self-development books and taking a lot of trainings and constantly just being in the work. And for me, that got tiring. So I went into fiction and I've been on my romance novels. Shout out to Kennedy Ryan. Have you heard of her book? What is it called? Is it called This Is Us? I may be making that up, but there's another book that she has called Real. And there's another book that I had just read. I got to look it up because it's a really good book. She's a really good author and she definitely helps depict self-love, choosing yourself, and Black women finding love. Like she really does that. And I have been reading her books down, and it's good.
I like that for you.
Yes.
Seeing her book bag. I thought you were thinking like book bag, like put on my shoulder like a kid book bag.
No.
And I'm like, listen, you buy book bags just for fun?
I might, because my library is filling up. But the book that I read was This Could Be Us. And when I say that had me. And it was really good. I never read romance novels before. I'm more so like a historical reader. Like I like reading like But I've been in the fiction land. I got out of the boring land. I do like facts. Facts are facts.
Oh my gosh, history, really?
Girl, I be reading about slavery. I be wanting to know.
Listen, anything slavery, I don't want to hear it.
What? It's Black History Month. What you talking about?
Listen, I'm tired of slavery. I'm tired of these.
I hear what you're saying.
Filmmakers.
Yeah.
Always want to let's highlight slavery. Like watching that makes me mad. Anything slavery and racism, I am upset and I am mugging everybody down the street. And now I got the attitude. And now I got a bad day because I didn't watch this movie about slavery. Like I can't do it. It's just
I feel you.
I'll be ready to throw water on anybody. I can't. Like
I'm done.
You're positive psychology me. I want all the self-help books.
Right, because we can still talk about Black history and all the other ways in which we have been loving ourselves. But slavery is a huge part of it too, girl, because they was doing the thing. It
is. Listen, I'm just glad I wasn't alive at that point because I think I would have been like, take me out. Euthanize me. I can't do it. Euthanize me. I got to go.
Euthanize me is crazy.
Girl.
I don't know. I always saw myself as like a freedom fighter. Like,
you be up there with that?
I would have been up there.
Girl.
I would have been running.
I believe it.
You see it?
Baby, you be bossy around here. I need this by the 21st, Keisha, and I don't want nothing else.
Not to invite them into our business.
I believe it, girl.
But yeah, I don't know. Self-love is just something I'm learning it. It's a constant way of just reminding yourself to center yourself into your life, center yourself, and what you want to do and not around everybody else.
Yeah. And I would say just know self-care is a process. Mm-hmm. It's not black and white. You don't just do it for a week and think, okay, I did my self-care, I'm done. Like it's a continual evolution. It's a process. Some days you're good at it, some days you're not, and some days you just don't got it, and you're like, all right, I'm going to try again tomorrow, and that's okay,
Yep, it is.
You're on a continuous journey of self-care and self-love. Follow us on all social media platforms at Committed to Me Podcast.
Yes, and leave a comment about how you practice self-love. We would love to hear from y'all. Definitely rate our show 5 stars. We definitely will appreciate it. Leave a review.
And hit that subscribe button.
Yes, and share this episode with someone that could benefit from it.
Amen.
Thanks. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.